Doing today? I hope you're doing well. Sorry for the tardiness. I my machine definitely wasn't behaving properly, and it just felt like I needed a reboot. I think what happened is, I have an external GPU. For those of you that watched some live streams that I did about it, and I when I went to disconnect it last night to work from the sofa last night, it didn't disconnect properly. It's kind of like a USB drive when you try to eject a USB drive, and sometimes you're just like it doesn't work. You just unplug the damn thing. So that happened with my external GPU last night, and I plugged it back in this morning, and I don't know. I think maybe that was causing something wonky. Maybe it just didn't disconnect, and when I reconnected it, I don't know, the gremlins got in there or something. So things after the reboot, everything seems to be running a lot smoother. So that's good. Um, Sweet. So a lot of chatter in the chat box. Thank you very much. Again, sorry for starting a little bit tardy today. Man, lots of people here, a lot of the usuals. And I see some new people as well. So congratulations. Thanks for coming. And today we're going to be talking about, hey, first off, I want to say, like, literally like 40 minutes ago, I've been waiting for an update to fix some bugs on the community, and they shipped it. And so I went to go update it, and it broke the community. So I was doing that I was trying to fix that for 20, up until like 5 minutes before this. And so community is currently down, and but we'll get it back up today. I promise. Funny enough, this morning I was actually looking at some new software for the community. So I think maybe it knew that, and it was like, hell, gonna use new software. So anyway, that happened today. So guess what? I'll be doing it right after this live stream, right? So fun times. So today we're going to be looking at Foundation 6 from hopefully from the perspective of a user or a completely new user. And I say hopefully because I'm going to try my best to explain everything from the beginning. But having, 12, 15 years experience using RapidWeaver and web development and whatnot, I sometimes it's hard to shift my mind completely to what you guys are thinking. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat box, because sometimes I'm going to try to assume very beginner level knowledge, but sometimes it's hard to make every possible assumption. So please keep me honest. And post stuff in the chat box that you feel like maybe I glossed over something too quickly. I'm not going to be able to go over everything, right? I mean, we have about an hour here. I might go a little bit longer, but we only have an hour. I'm not going to go into every setting and explain everything exhaustively, right? I want to try to just get you started, okay? I'm not going to dive all into like all the particular settings in RapidWeaver and Stacks. I already have two live streams that are basically like getting back to the basics, they're called. So if you just look for back to the basics, I have a part 1 and a part 2 for RapidWeaver, and we go into all like the settings of RapidWeaver and look into all that. I'm not going to dive into a lot of that today. So if you're curious on like the kind of the ins and outs in the beginning of how to use RapidWeaver generally, please go ahead and look at that. Okay. And again, keep me honest. Make sure that you're posting any questions in the yes, I got a quarantine haircut. Thank you for noticing. Hickman, I appreciate that. Is that haircut legal? Nice. Well, my wife did it. I bought some new clippers, and yeah, she faded me up. Not too shabby, right? Cool. Lots and lots of echo. Not sure what's going on. My audio is normally pretty crisp. I spent a lot of money on my audio setup. So, and because you guys are responding and chatting with me, it tells me that you are actually hearing me. So that's good. Okay, so let's get started. I guess we'll start at the beginning. What is RapidWeaver, right? So RapidWeaver is a Mac app, and most of you have it already. Okay. Since you're on my mail list, right? Let's go ahead and let me start my screen share really quick. Let's get that started. Okay. Cool. Now I gotta start. Oh, maybe a little bit that way. There we go. Okay. So, RapidWeaver. What is RapidWeaver? Right. RapidWeaver is a great tool from Real Mac Software, and it's currently in version 8. Version 9 is under development. Cool. And yeah, it's a really great framework. Let me just say, let me back up a little bit. I used to use iWeb back in the day, and what brought me to RapidWeaver was its theming engine, right? So what's great about RapidWeaver is you can kind of build out your website content, and then you can apply a theme to that, right? Because years ago when I was using iWeb, I wanted to change the way my website looked. And in order to do that, I had to rebuild every web page, right? And iWeb had a lot of these great themes, but in order to rebuild your website with a new theme, you had to rebuild every page with a new theme, like from scratch. And so I was like, so I wanted to try RapidWeaver out because I wasn't really sure on what design I wanted. So I jumped into RapidWeaver and had themes, right? And with themes, you could just kind of, with a click of a button, kind of just change the look of your site. And then you can like tweak the themes a little bit, right? So RapidWeaver's been really great over the years. Obviously, I think I started in RapidWeaver version 3. That's kind of like when it really started gaining a lot of momentum. And along came a really, really popular add-on for RapidWeaver. So RapidWeaver itself has an entire kind of ecosystem. Think of RapidWeaver as a platform, okay? And there are various components. You have themes, which is kind of like the shell of your website, and then you have plugins. And by far, the most popular plugin out there is one called Stacks. And Stacks is made by a company called yourhead.com. And I'm good friends with Isaiah over at Yourhead. Scott asked, what is a theme? So yeah, Scott, thank you for asking. A theme is basically the shell of your website, right? So let's let Stacks load here. And if we go to RapidWeaver, you can click on the themes, and you'll notice that there's a theme drawer. And I have a bunch of themes installed, okay? And let's choose one of the default themes from RapidWeaver 8. Let's go to RapidWeaver 8 themes, and let's choose climate. Why not? Okay, so we'll choose climate. And if inside RapidWeaver, we can just do a quick preview. And if you notice, like I haven't added any content to my site, but here is just a nice starter web page for us, right? A lot of these settings are based inside the project, right? So again, I'm not going to go through all these settings here. But yeah, a theme is great. Okay. And then if I wanted to add some content, Stacks was a really great revolutionary way of generating page content. Now, I would say there are other page types that ship with RapidWeaver. Like you can do an HTML page or a style text page or a photo album, but Stacks is really where it's at. And so Stacks is definitely, I don't build any web pages without Stacks nowadays. So Stacks is really great. It's powerful. It ships with some basic components, right? And these are called Stacks. So Stacks, the plugin, has Stacks inside of it. Okay. A lot of times that can confuse some people. And when you buy Stacks, you get a lot of these basic ones. Okay. All the way up to this one. So all these top ones up here. Okay. These first 3 groups all come with Stacks. And we can let's say do like a 2-column layout in here. And it's kind of like, it's really fun because it's kind of like building your web page with Legos, right? So you just kind of drag and drop these around. You can drag in images, right? So if I want to have an image, let's go ahead and add here, since we're going to be talking about foundation today, right? Whoops, that didn't do what I wanted. What was that? I think that's an SVG. I think that's why that's, oh no, it's a JPEG. That should work. What in the world? All right, we'll add image. Sometimes drag and drop while I'm streaming is funky. I never have these sort of issues when I'm not live streaming. So it's kind of weird. I don't know if it's system resources or what. Maybe it's just because I'm loading it from that little where's Finder? There it is. Let me just go ahead and drag and drop that image. We'll just choose any image here. Oh, it actually worked now. Okay, never mind. So we have an image, right? So here let's move this site image, and you can kind of just move things around the page, right? Man. And then if we preview in RapidWeaver, just hit Command R, we'll see that in my content now, I have my content, right? So I can easily add content to my web page just by dragging and dropping these little stacks from the stacks library onto the page. Okay. So we kind of talked, and let's go by themes. Like, so if let's say I wanted a different theme, let's choose this one. I think it's called Adventure. Oh, Mountains. So here's mountains, right? And voila. So now my website is in the mountains theme, and yeah, it's really cool. Okay. And themes are nice, right? So that is the 5-minute or the 10-minute tutorial on what is RapidWeaver and stacks. Okay, the combination is very powerful. Even with just the default stacks, it is powerful. Now there is a plethora of third-party stacks as well. And if you've come to me, you probably know that I have a couple hundred, probably more now. I kind of lost count on how many stacks I have. And those are more add-ons that you can add. If you see, you can scroll down here. All these add-ons or all these stacks that are inside my library here are ones that are from me and other third-party developers. And they all do everything from, just think of them as building blocks or Legos that you just drag out onto the page, from everything from like image galleries to cool, fancy gradient wallpaper things, to here seams, which is really powerful, right? So seams allows you to add like little curved designs on your pages, right? Because a lot of times you go to websites and you can find various sections that have dynamically colored sections and all kinds of interesting stuff. So there are stacks for everything. Okay, there as you say, there's an app for that. Chances are there's a stack for that. There's a lot. Okay, so what is Foundation? So about, I don't know, 7 years ago, I believe, I kind of got, while themes in RapidWeaver are awesome, especially if you're just starting out and you're not really sure what you're doing or what you want, themes are a great thing to have. However, themes sometimes can be difficult to customize. So here, let's, if we go into the page inspector inside RapidWeaver, we can look at this, and this is where we can kind of define various colors and settings and whatnot for a theme. As you see, this theme, it has a decent amount of settings, but that's it, right? If I wanted to customize things that aren't available here, I'm kind of SOL, right? I'm out of luck. I can't really do that. Let me make this window wider so we can get everything in here. Okay, so what does that mean? So I came up with a product called Foundation, and what it allowed you to do is it allowed you to basically use these stacks, okay, that we have here access to in the library, to build your own theme. Okay, so essentially we're going to start off with a blank slate. So let's go ahead, and if I change my theme to be Foundation 6, sorry for my dogs barking. So Foundation 6 is a theme as well as a set of stacks. Okay, so there's two parts to it. We go here and I select the theme to be Foundation 6. And I already have, like, we can define little groups of our stacks. And I have a group here that has all of the stacks that come with Foundation 6. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and just preview this page really quick, you'll see that my content shows up here, but it's just on like this blank white page. Okay. And the reason for that is Foundation gives us a completely blank slate and allows us to really customize our content the way that we envision it. We can build our design the way that we want. It really is the ultimate in freedom. Okay. So once you've kind of got used to stacks and RapidWeaver, and maybe you've maybe built a site with a theme, and you're like, I want to remove those constraints. Something like Foundation will really help you remove all of those constraints, and it gives you a blank slate to start from. Okay. So let me back up a little bit further and talk about what is Foundation. Okay. So I said it was a theme as well as a set of stacks that we can use like building blocks to build our web pages. Okay. But what's behind it? Okay. Why is it called Foundation, and who's this little Yeti guy? Okay. So if you're in the web design world, you may know that their Foundation is actually an entire web framework. Okay. It's an open source web framework that is probably used. It's used by tens of thousands of developers across the world. Okay. Actually, it's over 100,000. I believe the number is around between 300,000 to 500,000 developers around the world use Foundation, and use Foundation, the open source framework. Okay. And if we go into the docs for Foundation, I should have to say that as of 2019, I am the maintainer of this open source framework as well. Okay. Excuse me. So Foundation itself is really cool. It has a lot of very great advanced technology that people who hand code websites get to use, right? So example, if I wanted grids and columns in my layouts, this is the HTML code for it, right? And it allows us to really easily customize our layouts. There's all kinds of really great navigation controls. There's some great plugins. And these are all really, really awesome. But in order to use these, it requires that you know how to hand code a website. And the problem is, like, for most people don't want to hand code a website, right? They prefer something like stacks where we can drag and drop, right? So what I've done is I've taken the Foundation 6 framework, all the code and eliminated the need to do any of the code. Okay. So you can go to get.foundation and then go to docs sites, and you can navigate through all these various things, right? You can see we have buttons and there's button groups. Okay. And you can see what all of these various things do. Okay. But what's great is we have access to all of those things just by simply dragging and dropping those components onto the page. So Foundation 6 has like its own version of a column stack. Okay. It has something called site styles as well, which we'll get into. And what's really powerful is all of those components that we have on the documentation from Foundation are all available via these little drag and drop widgets. You don't need to know any code. And you have inside, once you select a stack, you'll notice that over on in the page inspector, you have a lot of settings for those stacks. Okay. So it's very powerful. And here, let me just mimic that, the thing we did before. So I have, we'll do some text over here. And then we'll do a picture. Add a picture stack. Okay, and let's just drag and drop that image in there that we had earlier. Boop. There we go. All right, so now I have a 2-column with some text and an image. Okay, if we preview that, we'll see that. Oh, there it goes. So now we have that 2-column layout. Not too fancy here, right? But there we go. And as you see, as I click on each individual stack, okay, the settings for that stack change, right? Because a text stack has different settings than a picture stack and then a 2-column stack. And what's great, as you see, you can layer all of these as well, right? So like, for example, let's say I wanted to have a 3-column stack inside my 2-column stack, right? So it gives you a very, very flexible layout engine that is really simple and easy to understand. And yes, as Scott says in the chat, if you can't code, forget about the free framework. Okay. I purely talked about the framework because I wanted you guys to know what was behind it. Okay. And that it's a very large framework that is, or it's a widely used framework that is both efficient, fast, performant, and it's built by some really big geniuses. Okay. While I manage those geniuses, I'm a smart guy, but some of the guys that work on the code for Foundation are wicked smart and intelligent, and they're very passionate about it. And I'm honored to be able to lead them and take the Foundation framework into the future. So I am excited about that. So Dana asked, what is the free Foundation 6 or the $100 product you sell? So Dana, the Foundation framework that you saw, okay, that I brought in online. Okay, this framework, you could download it and use it for free all you want. It's used by hundreds of thousands of developers around the world. It is free. And you could build as many websites as you want with it for free. Okay? But in order to do that, you have to hand code your websites. Okay, you have to open up a code editor, and then you'd have to go through here and learn how to use the CSS and the HTML and the JavaScript, and you're basically on your own, right? You're going to be hand coding the website. My product, Foundation 6 Stacks, okay, are these components here. So instead of having to hand code all of these things, instead of having to hand code what a 2-column layout is, or hand coding what a 3-column layout is, or even more elaborate is stuff like accordions, right? So, you know, if you wanted an accordion here, okay, let's just go ahead and add an accordion. We preview this. Okay, I added an accordion here on the page. It literally took me 5 seconds. Okay, because of what I've done. Okay, because of the power of these Foundation 6 stacks. Okay, these stacks are a part of the product that you get when you purchase my Foundation 6 stacks. Okay, you get the stacks as well as the theme, right? The theme, once you set the theme, you're kind of done. Okay, there isn't anything to do in the theme, actually. It's all managed inside the stacks. So, Dana, hopefully that settles that for you. And that what's the difference? Again, my stacks use the free framework, but they do all of the code for you, and then some. I had these stacks have a lot of features that aren't inside the framework. Okay, for example, site styles. Site styles isn't something that's inside the framework. It's something you have to kind of hand code yourself. I do all of that for you. Okay. So there is a lot of pre-done stuff that you don't have to worry about if you were hand coding a website. Cool. Hopefully that, yes, Dana says they have the same name. Yes, one is Foundation 6 and the other one is Foundation 6 Stacks for RapidWeaver, right? Yes, they are the same name because the stacks use the framework, and I didn't want any sort of confusion of I wanted to show you that the stacks and the theme are powered by the framework. That's what I mean on the product pages. I talk about how they're powered by the foundation framework, because they are. Okay. So hopefully that that helps you out. And Matt does said, Scott says, put a container on the page. The no padding's driving him nuts. Okay. So we'll start building out a little site here. So here I have a container, and Scott wants me to put a container in there to make him feel better. And we'll add a little bit of padding and margin. I'm not going to explain every setting that I make here, that I change. I have a lot of over 50 to 60 hours of videos on Foundation 6 that kind of, and I have some that are like 2 to 5 minutes long, and some that are these live streams that are like an hour long, right? Those 2 to 5 minute ones, I kind of go into each, I pick a stack and kind of go into those settings for that particular stack. So I'm going to change a lot of settings here, and not really explain a lot as I go, just for time's sake. Okay. But I'm going to add this container. This container stack basically allows me to contain the content so that it's not always going to the edge of the browser windows. And then I added some padding to the 2-column layout, right? So it's, as you see, it's starting to look a little bit nicer. Okay. And another great thing is if we go to, I also have a free set of templates, okay, that I hope to ship a lot more of these, but these are some really great starters, okay? And so here, for example, I have a hero header template. And if we drag this template to the page, and I'll show you where you can get these free templates really quick in a little bit. So here I have a hero header. Now with templates, what you want to do is once you add it to the page, you want to click this little red button up here. We're going to extract that. And we preview this page, you'll see that I now have added a hero header to my website. Really, really powerful. Okay. And so as you see that's just really, really, really great, right? Here, if we want to add a, let's say I wanted to add a, what else we have in here? There's some, let's add like a card layout. Okay, so let's add. So inside my container, I want to add like a little card layout. Okay. So as you see here, I have a 2-column layout, then I have some cards, and then it's really easy to kind of start customizing this stuff, right? Again, this cards layout is a template, so let's extract it. Once I extract it, I can then start like customizing it. Okay. And I can change out the pictures. I can modify the text simply by, double clicking, and then you can modify the text in here. Okay. We can define, what's cool about the pictures is it actually allows you to define different images for different resolutions of the display. Is a hero header a thing? So yeah, hero header is a thing, right? It's a template. As you see here, I dragged that hero header out to the page, and it gave us a set of stacks. Think of these as I've pre-built little layouts for you, and then you could just drag and drop those to the page, and it's kind of already done for you. It's like pre-done layouts. Okay, like for example, if you're confused on how to implement tabs or something like that, you can just simply drag out this tabs template that I've built. And we already have a tab layout built for us, right? So I can just extract that. Let's preview that. And here below, I now have a tab container that contains different content. Now, obviously, at this point, now that it's on my page, I can customize that. I can add more tabs. I can modify and change the content. Let's say I wanted an image inside this this particular tab. I can drag and drop an image in there. Change the text, do all kinds of stuff, right? And these templates are a free download, but they're only useful if you already own Foundation, okay? The Foundation stacks. And you can get those from the product page. So if we go to, So if you go to the Foundation 6 product page, okay, you'll notice that if we go to the downloads section, man, it's really slow today. There we go. If we go down to the downloads section, I have a bunch of stuff, right? So you can download the theme is always available for free. And then here's the Foundation templates. So you can click on that, and that will download a set of templates that you then just simply double click or drag and drop onto RapidWeaver, and then RapidWeaver will install them for you. Okay. I also have a bunch of, let's see, here's some project files, a couple different project files. Like for example, and I linked to the YouTube videos that I actually, I built those particular projects live. So like if you want to watch how I built this particular project, here's a link to the YouTube video to that, right? Like for example, let's go ahead and download this one for right now. And we'll open it. We'll kind of see what a site, a pre-built site looks like with Foundation 6. So let's look at this particular page. So now I've downloaded this demo project, and I'm opening it up. And as you see here, this is a very nice and attractive web page that is completely built using Foundation 6. Okay. I recommend if you watch the live stream of how I built this. We can kind of dive into this a little bit and kind of look how some of this stuff was built, so you can kind of see how easy it really is, right? So I guess talking about Foundation, we have to start off with site styles, which is something I glossed over before. Okay. Site styles is the heart and soul of Foundation 6. Okay. And it lives in your Stacks library. You just add a site style to the page. Okay. Now you have to add site styles to every page. Okay. And inside Stacks, it allows you to do something called a partial. Okay. Which means that you could basically have the same site styles instance on every page. Okay. Let me see if I have how many pages are in this project. Oh, this project only has one page. So if I were to let's go ahead and add a new project to a new page to this project. Okay. And what I would do is, let's say on this home page, once I'm finished with site styles and I'm kind of happy with it, I would click this green button. Okay. So when I click this green button, what it does is it opens up what's called a partial editor in Stacks. Okay. And let's call this site styles partial live stream, just for fun. Okay. So I give this partial a name. You can also give it a subtitle and some author and tags and whatnot, but I give that this name, right? And if you notice, when we enter this partial editor, only the stack that was selected was added. But you can go ahead and actually add more stacks to this if you'd like. And because this is really powerful for, like, if you have maybe a footer, you want the footer on every page to be the same or something like that, right? So let's go ahead and let's click back. And you'll notice that up here, the site style stack, it looks a little bit different now. If you'll notice, my partial name is here, and there's like a little dashed outline around it. Okay. So now if we go to my new page that I added a few minutes ago, and in Stacks, if we go to this little green button, these are all of the partials that are saved within my project. Okay. So if I add this partial to this page, voila, I have that partial. And now what's really cool is if I double click on this in the site styles, and I can go ahead and make as many changes as I want. Okay. Like let's change the shade of red for this alert. Okay. So let's say I wanted a different shade of red. And then once I click back, that saves that partial. And what's great is that is now updated on every web page. Okay, here just to show you, actually, let's change it to something very drastic, right? So if I, let's go ahead and change it to green. Okay, so I'm going to make the alert green, actually, right now. We're going to go back. And there we go. We see that inside this partial, the alert style goes to green. And if we go to the untitled page, you'll notice that we're on the untitled page and that same change is there. So partials give you the ability to, give the ability to modify a partial or modify content within it. And then that content is automatically ported to all the pages that use that partial. Okay. So partials are a very powerful tool. And cool. Okay. So with that, let's talk about site styles a little bit more. And just for speed, I'm going to go ahead and unpartial this really quick. I'm just going to extract that so I don't have to keep going in and out of the partial editor. So what is site styles? Okay. And now that we know that we use site styles to control all the styles on our pages. Okay. If we look at site styles, it contains all the data about the styles of our site. Funny that, right? We can have a site background color, so we can make the background color of our site a particular color, an image, a warehouse image. You can apply your own custom CSS if you're a more advanced user. Okay, you can define your site width, various colors, right? So here we all the various colors like buttons and accordions and all the various components in the stacks from Foundation 6. They all use particular colors, right? So for buttons are an obvious one. Buttons have a particular color. Well, all those colors are defined here, okay? The default colors, okay? Then we have all of our text colors down here, as well as all of our text and font sizes, okay? And what's really great here is we can have all of our header sizes and the text sizes. And we can actually customize that for small, medium, and large devices. Now, you might be asking, well, what is small, medium, and large? Roughly, that means mobile, tablet, and desktop. Roughly, because devices are so different nowadays. Some devices, like if you put a iPhone 11 Plus in landscape mode, it's going to think you're on a desktop because there's so many pixels there, right? But if you're looking at it how the iPhone was really intended to be used, it would be a small device. Okay, so depending on the device that you're using, think of small as most likely going to be a mobile phone in portrait mode. Medium is going to be more like a tablet in portrait mode. And then large will be obviously desktop as well as, an iPad or something like that in landscape, things like that. Okay, so we have small, medium, and large. So we can kind of customize various things throughout all of Foundation. Okay, and yeah, so that is what site styles is. And then there's a lot more, okay, to site styles. I'm not going to dive into every possible swatch and things that we can add here, but swatches really are a very powerful thing that are new to Foundation version 6. These are something that's very new. I have a lot of really great detailed videos on how to use swatches. But what's really powerful about a swatch is that you can define a style for something in one location and then apply that style to multiple places. So for example, on this particular page, I've actually styled out all of these components, okay? And all the styles are centralized here, right? For example, let's look at, hold on, what is that? Oh yeah, the card divider. Let's look at here. Okay. So for example here, this particular style, okay, is styling the background for a card divider. As you saw, they were currently black, right? And if I wanted to change those, it's actually using the black color from site styles. But if I wanted to change those to be a custom color, let's go ahead and make those background colors maybe a dark gray instead. Okay, so instead of black, we're going to set it to be dark gray. And if we scroll down, we'll notice that those all those card headers are no longer black, they are dark gray. Okay, and I did that all of that just by modifying this one style on the page. Okay, A lot of things in the past prior to Foundation 6 required you to go to each individual component and set the style at that component. What is unique about Foundation 6 is the power of site styles and all of these swatches. And if you see, we have swatches for all kinds of stuff: background, border, height, margin, opacity, padding, shadows. So you can kind of generalize your styles and then apply those to your individual components. Okay. And you can do that in various ways. I have some really great videos on how to handle swatch selectors. Make sure that you watch that. Okay. And how to style these. The basic thing is, for example, here, I have this background image. Okay, let's look at this particular one. I have a class of banner. And then if you notice here, this is the background image. Where is it? This one. This is the stack that actually contains that background image. And all I did is I added that banner class into this custom class list. And you see, I could have multiple classes. I have alt as well as banner here. You can just do a space and then another class. You can do as many as you want. But it's really powerful. It's really simple. I just simply define a class up here, define my styles inside the swatch, and then whatever I add this class to will get that style. It's very powerful. Really simple in term to understand, because you just apply styles. Kind of add a tag. Think of classes as kind of like tags, and then you can add those tags wherever you want, and those styles will get applied. Okay, it's very powerful. Let me go into the chat really quick and see if there's any other questions. I've kind of been blabbing around for a while, and I wanted to make sure that I answered any questions, lingering questions, while we still have time. Danny talks about mobile first. I'm not going to dive into that today, Danny, but yes, Foundation 6 does use something called mobile first design. I have a video on mobile first. I think the video was recorded for Foundation 1, but it's still relevant for Foundation 6. Essentially, all the base styles are done for mobile, and then you enhance that for medium and large devices. The biggest learning curve that I have issues with is from Foundation to Foundation 6 is getting the mobile to look good. Try to set different pictures, but I can't get it to work right. So Donna, funny enough, maybe I should do another video on mobile first design with Foundation 6, because essentially you need to design everything for mobile first, then you enhance it for other things, right? So now for example, background image, it's really simple because I give you the ability to do image, medium, and small, medium, and large. And here I only defined one for this is the default image. And then if I don't define a medium and a large, it will automatically use the default image. So by default, it uses this image on small. And if I wanted to override that for medium, I'd add one here. And then if I wanted to add one specifically for large, I could add one there. But the medium and large stuff is really optional because whatever is defined by default will be used for everything. Hopefully that makes sense. And in terms of images for the picture stack, I assume you're talking about the picture stack inside Foundation 6. I have a really great video on the picture stack, okay, that I go into great detail about how to use the picture stack and how to get different images to display for different devices, okay? So make sure you check out that picture stack, okay? Or the picture stack video. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit, Donna. Can you please explain the container stack? Same as a one column purpose. Okay. So we're getting into some specific questions for people that have maybe used Foundation for a little bit, but have some questions. Okay. So the container stack, think of it as just a generic box. Okay. And there's a little bit of sizing options, right? If we look here, the sizing for a container, it could be auto, site width plus gutter, and gutter means it puts like little spacing on the left and right size. We can make it full width, okay, Full width means it goes the full width of the browser, or full width plus gutter. Okay. So for example, the default is site width plus gutter. What is the site width? Well, our site width is defined inside site styles. Okay. So if we go into site styles, our max width here, the default is 1,000 pixels, I believe. Okay. So that container stack will go to a maximum of 1,000 pixels. Let's look at an example here. This particular container here, I have the sizing set to auto. And when you set it to auto, that essentially means just go full width. Don't put any sort of padding. It's just kind of like a generic box. It's the most generic thing you can do with a container. It's just it's essentially a single div for those that are maybe a little bit familiar with HTML. Okay. And then this stack here that's inside of it, I have it set to site width plus gutter. That's because the content that I want that's inside this container, I don't want it to go above 1,000 pixels. Okay. So if we preview this, let's preview it on a larger screen. Oh, whoa. What the heck happened there? There it goes. There it goes. Okay. So you see here, I in this particular container, I had it set to be full width, okay, or auto, so that the image is going all the way to the edge, okay. But then my content down here, this normal content, I have this set to site width because I don't want my page content to go to the edge of the browser window. I want it to be constrained within a pixel, okay, within that site width that's defined inside site styles. Okay. Now, what's the difference with the one column? So the container is the only thing that can restrict your content to the site width. Only the container. That's it. Nothing else can do that. Even a one column. So for example, this is a two column, but if I were to take this two column and put it outside of the container, okay, and then let's go ahead and preview that. You'll notice that that two column, okay, goes the full width because the column stacks, two column, one column included, do not obey the site width. They will always fill up whatever you put it in. Okay, so that is one difference. Oops. There are other differences between a container and a one column though. And a lot of that just has to do with settings, right? So basically I would say use the container only when you, let's add a one column as well. So one column has sizing. So it does have sizing, but it's always a percentage width, right? So here we can say that a small is 12. If you're confused with the sizing of columns, everyone, and you're new, check out our video on the columns. It's like a 4-minute video, and I kind of go into all the various sizing options here and why they're built like this. Okay, but yeah, a column just has different options, right? So for different options for sizings, for margins, for aligning your content. Most of the time, you're probably going to use containers on the outside of your site to control the width. And then most of the other times, you're just going to use a one column. Okay. But you're going to use a one column when you want particular one column features. So maybe just play with a container and a one column and learn what those features are and how each one works differently. But hopefully that quick overview helped you out a little bit, Jody. The main purpose of a container, again, is to constrict the width of your content to the site width that's inside site styles. Okay. Or in this particular instance, like I just wanted a generic container to hold my banner and throw a background on it, right? So yeah, container works good for that. Okay, can you put all the stacks inside one container? When you do, should you use a new container? That's really up to you. So if we look at this site design here, let me refresh this page since I fixed that. If we look here, I create different sections of this web page, and each section is a container. Okay. If you wanted, you could throw everything in a container, but then you couldn't do this like this banding effect. So like if I didn't want these sections to be different colors, I just wanted like the entire site background to be white, then yes, I could throw everything in one container and we're good to go. Okay. There's other benefits to a container if by doing this sectioning of your content, especially if you wanted to link to a particular section on the page. There's this setting called an anchor ID inside of a container that allows you to use a button or a link to basically link directly to a section on the page. Kind of like here on my, nope, that wasn't it. Where is my foundation product? Oh, here it is. Okay. Kind of like how I have on this page here, on my main product pages, I have these links that link to individual parts of the page, right? So if I click downloads, it takes me to downloads. If I click screenshots, it takes me to screenshots, right? You can do things like that with a container very easily. Okay. Cool. Joe, can you maximize the window a bit? Oh, sorry. Please explain extracting. Peter, I assume that you mean when like I extracted this partial. Okay. So for example, let me go to this page. It still has that partial that I created. If you notice, this is a partial. Okay. And when something is a partial and you have it selected, this green button goes from being like a little cubes to this arrow button. And what that means is we're going to unpack a partial. I think unpacking is the correct terms that Stacks uses. So to unpack it, you simply click this button. Now, when I do that, you'll notice that it's now, this site styles is now no longer in a partial. And what that means is it's no longer in the partial. No, any changes that I make to this won't be affected in the partial. It is now just an individual instance of the stack on this page. Same thing when I did, when I added those templates to the page, right? Oops, let's leave that on the page. You can also hide and unhide a stack. If you notice that when I hid site styles, you can kind of hide and show stacks. Site styles can be quite large sometimes, especially on a low resolution display like I have right now. So you can quickly hide it if you don't want to see it any longer. But if we look at those templates, right, let's just add another template to the page. Let's actually add a fun one. Let's add one called Blob. And if you notice, we have this blob. Okay, and what if you're wondering what a blob is? Let's preview. Blob is this is a blob, and I made it with Foundation 6 stacks. Okay, but I made it really easy so that it just works for you directly inside just by adding this template to the page. And again, this is a template. This is a part of that free download that I give you. Okay, and I just add the blob to the page. But out of the box, I can't modify a template. So in order to modify its contents, I need to unpack it, okay, or extract it, however you want to call it, okay, by clicking this button. And there we go. That took all the stacks that were inside that template and pulled them out. They are now individual stacks on the page. Okay, hopefully that answers the unpacking or the extracting question. Hi, Joe. I used the previous Foundation and loved it. I find going to Foundation 6 a challenge. It's a big difference for the user. I feel like I have less control over the stack settings. So, I'm not sure when you jumped on and asked this, Frank, but you actually have a lot more control. And I recommend you watch a video called Why Foundation 6, or I think it's called Why Foundation 6. Okay. Here, hold on. Let's go. In that video, let me close that. Yeah. It's the very first video on the tutorials screen on the Foundation product page. why Foundation 6 stacks changes the game. Okay. And this video, I explain wholeheartedly why the swatches approach, okay, which is this, is more powerful and saves you time rather than having to go to every individual stack and change the settings independently. Okay. Just think about it, because I have access to all of my, or most of my styles directly in one location. I can centralize those styles. So like if I wanted, for example, here I have a style for section color. Now, if we look at, let's go to this page here. If you look at this gray section here, I have this light gray section and this light gray section. Okay. What if I wanted to change that, right? And let's say I used this section color across not just one web page, but let's say I used it across 50 web pages on my entire site. Okay. Previously, what you'd have to do is, in other previous frameworks, you'd have to go to that particular section, change the color, and then you have to find every place where that style was set and change the color on every web page across your entire site. However, with Foundation 6 now, okay, we control that color in one location. This particular background setting controls that color. So instead of using light gray, let's say let's choose a specific color. Oops, color. If I click on this, let's go like, let's do a light blue. Maybe give it an opacity. Okay, so now all those section colors are going to be light blue. Let's refresh and look. There we go. I change now. If this was, in a section. Whoa, I'm not sure what I did up there. Oh, weird browser caching thing. So you see, that was really simple. Prior to Foundation 6, depending on how many places I had that style, it could take you hours. But instead, we did that in like 10 seconds. Okay. That is just one example of why swatches in Foundation 6 is a lot more powerful for you. It's going to save you time. Okay. So hopefully that helped you out, Frank. Jody asks, extracting a template and changing it won't affect it in the library. No. So templates are unique in that once you add it to the page and extract it, templates are, you cannot modify a template at all. So like here, let me delete this blob. Let's go ahead and let's add another template. Let's add a responsive image template here. Okay. By the way, I forget who asked a question about images. I think it was Donna earlier. This responsive image template kind of shows you how exactly to create responsive images. So make sure you check this out. Okay. So anyway, here I added a responsive image template, and if you notice, if I double click it as we would to, maybe make it as we would a partial, we can't edit a template. You can either convert it to an external or convert it to a partial. I'm not going to go into what externals are today. Externals are very powerful features of Stacks 4, similar to partials, but you can kind of use them across different projects. Partials are specific to one project. Externals are partials that can be used across different projects. So anyway, so you can say don't edit, or you can convert it, right? But you can't edit a template. It is impossible. The only thing you can do is extract it. So if you add a template and you want to partial it, just double click it and you can convert it to a partial, or you can extract it. But templates are impossible for you as the end user to edit. Hopefully that helps out, Jody. Can you explain partials and how to use them for header and footer for multiple pages? Sure, let's do that. Okay. Let's say I want to have this container, which is my header. And then the very bottom, I have a footer on the page. Okay. And this footer is what? Oh, that's actually let's convert that to a partial. Okay. So at the bottom, I have a footer, and let's, I'm going to hide site styles for right now. Okay. And then here we have a container. In this container, I'm going to create a partial out of it, and this is going to be our site header. So there we go. I'm going to call this site header. Back. Okay. So now we go to this other page that I used. Okay. And here, let's partial out this page for us. Okay. So let's go to here. We'll notice inside of our stacks library, if we go to our partials, we have 3 partials now. First one is going to be site styles. Okay. So there we go. Done. We now have our partialed site styles. Then I have, oops, what happened there? Oh, I went back to the other page somehow. All right, then I'm going to have site header. And then we're going to add our site footer. And then in between it, let's just go ahead and add some stacks really quick. Let's just add a container with 2 columns. I'm going to be boring. I'm just going to do that with that. Man. All right. So there's my page. I have some content. Oops, how'd that happen? I have some content with my header and my footer. Okay, let's preview that. Cool. So there we see up at the top, I have my header. And then down at the bottom, I have my footer. In the middle, I have my content. Okay. Now, obviously right now, let's say we want this particular text to be different on every page, right? The footer probably is going to be the same on every page, right? Because that's probably going to be the same. But a lot of times in the header, you want this text to maybe be different on every page. So that's pretty simple to do. So let's go ahead and in our site header, I'm going to double click that so we can edit the partial. Okay. And what's cool is inside partials, you'll notice that some things have these little pin. Okay. And what I can do is I'm going to unpin that area. Oh, wait, hold on one second. Oops. Oh no. Ooh, that's a interesting bug. I just made stacks crash. I'll have to file a bug. You cannot undo when you pin. I don't think I've ever done that before. Interesting. I'll make sure I file that bug today. Just going to open this project file. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, while this opens, hopefully that gave you an example about how to take that concept of partials and use it for the header and the footer. Okay, Crystal? Hopefully that helped you out. Jody says there's lots of videos on partials on Your Head's website. Thank you, Jody. Yes. Will adding containers to many stacks cause code bloat for your site? Does styling stacks slow down your web page load? Okay, so Frank, I don't know how many containers are you going to use. So Foundation 6, it's code. I put a painstakingly amount of work into making the code behind these stacks pretty much exactly the same as if I were going to hand code this website. Okay. So there's probably 3 times less code on a Foundation 6 site than there are using themes or other frameworks. Okay. A lot less code. maybe even more than 3 times if you take into effect the CSS that you're going to save as well as the JavaScript that you're going to save. So adding a few containers isn't a big thing. If it works for you, if it makes your layout work, then it's what you need. Okay. A container, depending on your settings, is 1 or 2 divs. If you really care to know about that, right? So it's really not a lot. Whereas previously, something like a container would probably be 4 or 5 stacks or 4 or 5 divs on the page. So the code behind Foundation 6 is very clean and very, 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 very efficient. For some reason, man, a RapidWeaver, it crashed and came back, and now it's like all funky. What's going on here? Let's close that and reopen it. Egbert, may I say I'm oh, thank you, Egbert. Joe, you have noticed that RW always crashed when you do a Command Z. So yeah, we're just talking about RapidWeaver crashing with Command Z. Happens sometimes if you do too many Command Zs. Cool. I think I've caught up on all the questions. And I've gone 15 minutes over. But let's go ahead and finish that example. Let me try to launch this project again. Maybe rebuild that really quick. Let's close this browser. Let's see what's interesting. RapidWeaver again. Site styles goes where? Site styles goes at the top of the page. To be honest, you can kind of put it, you can put it in other locations, but I recommend putting it at the bottom of, or at the top of the page. That's where I recommend putting your site styles. Yeah, I think you'd have less issues just putting it at the top of the page. I think it will just work best there. Okay, so put it at the top of the page. Again, a lot of times when I'm kind of done with site styles, I'll just hide it like that. And then there's other things called swatches. Make sure you check out the videos. I have a lot of videos on site styles and swatches, and all of those features. Another feature of Foundation 6 Stacks comes with comes with Font Awesome 5 Pro, which didn't even get into today. I have some videos on those as well. All right, let's see if I have those partials back in here. Oh, wait. All right. So let's go ahead and I created 3 partials, right? I had, let's say, site styles. Let's partial site styles. I'm going to go quick. I'm not even going to name my partials. I'm just going to leave them as the default. And this footer will convert to a partial. Okay. So now I have three partials. For speed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this layout right here. So we'll do, actually, I'll go here. Let's add a new page. Add my content. I just copied and pasted some content from a previous page. And then let's see, I think partial 2 was site styles. Voila. Partial 6 was my header. And then down on the bottom, partial footer. That was the footer. Okay, there we go. Let's close. I probably need those. So if we preview this really quick, we'll preview in RapidWeaver. This time. If you notice this particular page, I have my content, my header. The header, site styles, and the footer are all a part of partials. Okay. So let's show you an example. Like, let's say if let's go down to this footer, and let's change this text to say, I need to upgrade the copyright to be 2020. And we're going to change this Foundation 6 stacks for Dana. Click OK. Click back. So I now saved the copy of my footer to the page. Okay. We go ahead and preview. We'll see that I now have Foundation 6 stacks, copyright. Oh, copyright spelled wrong too. 2020. Okay. And if we go to the other page, the home page, and let's wait for that to load, we'll see that those changes have been made there as well because my footer is now partialed. Okay. Now, one last change is I want to make sure that this particular section right here, I want to unpin this text area. Okay. And if we save that, what that is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to customize this text on every page. So the homepage, I wanted to say Foundation 6, welcome to Foundation 6. And then on this page, though, I don't want it to say welcome to Foundation 6. Let's just say hello live stream. So now on this page, my header says hello live stream, but on this other page, it still says welcome to Foundation 6. So hopefully that was a help. That's partials are very powerful. I only went over just a tidbit of what you can do with those. And yeah, very powerful stuff. So cool. I hope this helps everybody. Hopefully I felt like I maybe jumped. I went from 0 to 60 really, really fast. I'm sorry. Even when I try to go beginner, it just, my momentum carries me forward. And I know I breezed through a lot of topics really, really quickly. But hopefully I was able to answer a lot of your questions. And that you enjoyed it. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed today. Hopefully for beginners. Will this project be available to download? Rob, it's already available to download. It's on the Foundation 6 product page. It's where I downloaded it from. So yeah, take that. There's also a link to the live stream where I actually built this project live. So yeah, if you want to get into that, how I built this project, you can do that. We kind of extended it a little bit today, I guess, with partials and whatnot. So that was fun. Frank, no worries about this. We're all beginners. I want to make sure that you understand and that I service you, right? So that you can enjoy Foundation 6 just like everybody else, right? So hopefully it helped you out today. As always, check us out on Friday. On Friday, we have RapidWeaver Hangouts. And just go to weaverspace/hangout on Fridays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. That's 30 minutes from right now, but on Friday. And yeah, you can also go to weavers.space/events, and you can get the links and the details to all of our events there, including these live streams. So cool. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I'm going to be spending the rest of the day. Well, I wasn't planning on fixing the community today, but darn it, I broke it. So now I got to go fix the community and hopefully do some work on Total CMS 2, because I've been really pull driving on that the past couple days a lot. So trying to make headway on that so we can get a beta out to you guys by the end of June. That's definitely my hope, my goal. So cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.